There is a thin line between business and entrepreneurship. Business means solely for money, where entrepreneurship to me means freedom, and it also means creating value for people around me. So today I'm here to talk about how to run a startup in the first week. Myself, Rewaj Chettri, I'm the founder and CEO of Any. So the first thing that you need to do in any idea, or when you have a business or when you have a product, is to find a brand name or a business name. Secondly, you have to work on a logo or a basic branding. So the third thing that, and it's the most important, and it's more to do with social media presence. Fourth thing that you need to do is reach out to people around you or people whom you know. The fifth part is one of the most important and the most interesting part, that is doing a mass publication or press release. Now it's time to also review what mistakes you made over the week. The seventh and the last step is to release your product or go to market. So this is the first episode. I can go on and on talking about the technical solutions to adaptive challenges, but let's speak the truth. Entrepreneurship is definitely a lonely journey. It gets lonelier with time, and the first week it's always important because that's the loneliest time. Nobody understands what you're doing. Your idea is still vague. People still think it's not practical. People will never understand what you want to do. So the first thing what you have to do when you run a startup, or the first week, the main objective behind what you are doing, I think it's very important for you to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, people who understand you. Maybe sometimes it might be a family, sometimes it might be a friend, sometimes it might be someone who is very close to you, or sometimes it can be a partner. So surrounding yourself with positive people, like-minded people, somebody who might understand, might not understand, but still is supportive to you, is the most important thing. Secondly, the most of the startup fail because in the first week, that is also very important, is understanding your customer, understanding what you are trying to do. And it's very important for an entrepreneur to understand what the customer needs, what the customer wants, and most of the startups fail because they don't understand the need of the customer. So understanding the need of the customer is one of the most important thing for a startup to survive to the first week and go on and on. And I think sometimes it's the area, sometimes it's the people who you're targeting, sometimes it's online, whatever content. You can't do a homestay in a place where no tourist goes, right? So you have to understand that there is a need, there is a demand, and if there is no demand, you need to create a demand. So something, you have to understand your customer, what a customer needs. The third and the most important thing, and which is I feel the most bitter truth of entire journey of my entrepreneurship or startup so far, is that we will fail, right? I have failed so many times, but every time I fail, I learn something. And for a startup, I think it's 90% chance for a startup to fail, and maybe around 1% chance for a startup to be a successful one. So be ready to fail, never get discouraged, because it's always that way. Otherwise, everybody would be running their own startups. It's important. Encourage yourself, motivate yourself. There are different ways to motivate yourself. Sometimes we seek motivation external, sometimes internal. For me, I believe more in self-motivation. I believe more in myself. I believe more that, okay, if not today, tomorrow I'll do it. And keep that habit, motivate yourself. And I think motivation is one of the most important thing in a journey or in the first week, because it's always the first week that determines how your startup will go on in the future. And I think the fourth and the most important part is failing fast. The faster you fail, the better it is. All the startups sometimes doesn't fit. Maybe idea is great, but the timing might be wrong. So you have to learn fast, fail fast, and understanding what failure is. It's not, failure is never the end of the world, but it's always beginning of something great. And I think that's very important when you run a startup. And this is the final point of what I'm going to talk to you about, is ideas only get clearer with time. If you work towards it, that's the only way to get it clearer. Ideas never come fully formed. You will never see anything so clear when you start, but with time, you'll understand what customer needs. You'll understand after you fail. You'll understand when you surround with like-minded people, they'll give you feedback. So it gets clearer that way. So never expect to be successful in the first week. It's definitely not happening. So be ready for failure. Be ready to get discouraged. Be strong. And I think if you are consistent in what you love, if you can turn your passion into actions, I think that's the only way to be successful. Maybe with time, you'll be successful. And this is for today. Next week, we are coming up with, I think it's one of the most important things, but I like to talk about, it's how to tackle failure and how to tackle when you lose interest over time. So next episode, I'll come with failure and losing interest over time and how we can work towards it. Thank you. See you again.